You wake up tired. Before you even get out of bed, you're already scrolling. Your brain is flooded. Notifications, pressure, other people's opinions. By the time you're at work, in class, or just trying to get through the day, someone says something that gets under your skin. You pretend it doesn't bother you, but it does. Later, your mind won't shut up. You replay conversations, regret what you said, overthink what you didn't. And at night, you're exhausted, but you can't relax. You're not weak. Your mind is just overstimulated. In this video, you'll learn 7 Stoic habits that can help you reset, reclaim control, and become emotionally untouchable. Let's begin. Most people try to avoid uncomfortable thoughts. They tell themselves, don't think about failure. Stay positive. Focus on the good. But the Stoics took the opposite approach. They believed in preparing for the worst, not because they were pessimistic, but because it made them stronger. This practice is called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It means imagining the things that could go wrong before they do. What if you fail that exam? What if you lose your job? What if that person leaves you? What if everything falls apart? Most people would spiral just thinking about it. But the Stoics trained themselves to imagine these scenarios calmly, not to panic, but to prepare. And something strange happens when you do this. The fear loses its grip. You realize that even if the worst happens, you'll survive, you'll adapt, you'll rebuild. You stop clinging to things. You stop being shocked when life hits you, because you already saw it coming. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." In other words, if you face the pain in your mind now, it won't destroy you later. This isn't about being negative, it's about becoming mentally bulletproof. Because when you expect nothing, you're ready for anything. Try this. Once a week, sit in silence. Imagine the things you fear, not to dwell, but to prepare. Then open your eyes and carry on like a warrior. That's the Stoic way. Mornings are where most people lose the battle before the day even starts. You wake up, grab your phone, scroll through noise, delay everything, and before you know it, you're already behind. But the Stoics had a different approach. They believed the morning was sacred, a chance to begin with clarity, not chaos. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I was made to do this.'" He didn't say, "Wait until you feel ready." He said, "Get up," because life doesn't care how you feel. Discipline isn't built on motivation, it's built on movement. Waking up early isn't about productivity hacks or chasing hustle culture. It's about training your mind to lead the body. When you rise early and do it without emotion, you prove something to yourself. You're not a slave to feelings. You're in control. You're not checking your phone. You're checking your focus. You're not waiting for the day to begin. You're meeting it head on. This doesn't mean you have to get up at 4 a.m. It just means you choose to begin before the world floods in, before notifications, before comparison, before the noise takes over. Try this. Tomorrow morning, when the alarm rings, don't think, don't debate. Just sit up, stand, move. That single act, getting up without hesitation, is the first win of your day. And that win compounds. It sharpens your mind. It silences the inner weakness. It reminds you, you are not here to be soft. You are here to lead yourself. Journaling isn't about aesthetics. It's not about pretty notebooks, motivational quotes, or tracking how productive you were. For the Stoics, journaling was a weapon used to sharpen the mind. Marcus Aurelius kept a private journal. He never meant for it to be published. But what we now know as meditations was just him, wrestling with his thoughts on paper. No filters, no audience, just truth. And that's what Stoic journaling is. Brutal honesty with yourself. You write to observe, to confront, to correct. You don't write to feel good. You write to become better. Try asking yourself, where did I lose control today? What made me angry? And why? What did I avoid that I should have faced? What will I do differently tomorrow? That's it. This isn't therapy, it's training. Because you can't fix what you won't face. And if you're lying to yourself, you're weakening yourself. The Stoics believed awareness is the first step to mastery. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be conscious. Seneca said, "Each day I examine myself. What did I do well? What did I do poorly? What can I improve?" There's no performance in this practice. No pressure to write long pages. Even one paragraph is enough, if it's honest. And over time, journaling builds something rare. Self-accountability. You start to notice patterns. You stop repeating mistakes. You become the kind of person who sees clearly and corrects course without shame. So tonight or tomorrow morning, sit down, write. No fluff, no filters, just you and the truth. Most people speak too quickly. They react, defend, explain, interrupt. They think power is found in being loud, clever, or always having a comeback. But the Stoics knew better. Silence is strength. Observation is power. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." When you speak too much, you reveal your emotions. You reveal your insecurities. You give away your power. But when you hold your words, you become unreadable, unshakable. You don't need to prove your intelligence. You don't need to jump into every debate. You don't need to explain yourself to people who already made up their minds. Let them talk. Let them rant. You observe. Because when you observe, you learn. You see patterns. You notice people's weaknesses and your own. You respond with intention, not impulse. This habit, speaking less, isn't about being cold or passive. It's about choosing your words with precision. It's about staying rooted when others are flailing. It's about making your silence louder than their noise. In any room, the quietest person often holds the most authority. Not because they say nothing, but because when they do speak, it means something. Try this today. In one conversation, say less than you normally would. Pause before you respond. Listen like it's a strategy. Observe like it's a skill. You'll be surprised at what people reveal when you stop trying to be heard, because the man who can stay silent is often the one in control. Comfort is a trap, and modern life is full of it. Fast food, instant dopamine, easy escapes. But every time you avoid discomfort, you train your mind to run from resistance. The Stoics understood this. They believed in voluntary hardship, choosing the difficult thing on purpose to build strength before life tests you. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, while asking yourself, is this the condition I feared?" It wasn't suffering for the sake of pain. It was training. Discomfort was the gym for their character. And today, it still works. Doing one hard thing every day builds mental armor. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Take a cold shower. Go for a run when your mind says no. Speak the truth in a moment where silence would be easier. Finish that task you've been avoiding. Sit alone, without distractions, and just face your thoughts. Discipline isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing one uncomfortable thing, on purpose, consistently. Because the more you seek resistance, the less power discomfort holds over you. You become the kind of person who doesn't flinch when things get hard. You stop negotiating with your excuses. And over time, you start to respect yourself deeply. So try this. Before the day ends, ask yourself, what's one hard thing I can do today that I'll thank myself for tomorrow? Then do it. Don't overthink. Just act. That small decision. That's how strength is built. Not in loud moments, but in quiet, difficult ones, when no one's watching. Most people are ruled by results. They obsess over likes, grades, promotions, approval, and when they don't get what they expect, they collapse. But the Stoics trained themselves differently. They focused on effort, not outcome, on action, not applause. Epictetus taught, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." In other words, do your part and let go. You can control your discipline, your decisions, your attitude, but you can't control how the world responds. And chasing control where it doesn't exist will only leave you frustrated, anxious, and bitter. Think about it. You study hard, but the test is unfair. You give your best, but they choose someone else. You're honest, and people still misunderstand you. It happens, and when it does, the Stoic doesn't break, because their peace was never tied to the outcome. They ask, did I act with integrity? Did I give my full effort? Did I stay true to who I want to become? If the answer is yes, they move on. Detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means your self-worth isn't built on things you can't control. It's a kind of quiet power. You become immune to praise and resilient to rejection. You stop chasing validation. You start chasing mastery. So try this. Today, when you do something, let the act be enough. Do it well. Do it fully, then release it. Whether it works or not isn't your concern, because the goal isn't to win every time. The goal is to act like the person you respect, regardless of the outcome. That's freedom. That's Stoic control. Your mind loves to time travel. It jumps to the past. Why did I say that? It races to the future. What if it goes wrong? It spins in imagined scenarios, arguments, regrets, fears, fantasies, and all of it pulls you away from the only place you have any real power, right now. The Stoics knew this. They didn't waste energy on what already happened. They didn't fear what hadn't come yet. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present, because the present is where action lives. It's where self-control is possible. It's where peace exists. Not someday, not when things calm down, but here, now." Every time your mind drifts, you weaken your grip on the moment. And when you lose the moment, you lose your focus, your energy, your life. This isn't about mindfulness as a trend. It's about mental discipline. Being here, fully, in this breath, in this task, in this conversation. Try this. Once today, when your mind starts spiraling, pause, breathe, look around, feel your body, and quietly say, "Come back." That 1 second of awareness is the doorway back to control. You don't need to solve everything right now. You just need to return to this moment and handle what's right in front of you. That's how the Stoics lived, not in theory, but in action. And if you can keep returning to the present, especially when life pulls you away, you become unshakable. Not because the world is easy, but because you are here, and here, you are in control. You don't need more motivation. You don't need to fix your entire life overnight. You just need to practice. One habit, one choice, one moment of control, every day. These Stoic habits aren't just ideas, they're tools. Use them. And with time, you won't just look calm on the outside, you'll be untouchable on the inside. This is how it begins. If one of these habits spoke to you, drop it in the comments. And if you want more calm, more clarity, and more control, subscribe to Control Your Mind Society. We're just getting started.